in late June, a candidate by the name of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez beat longtime Congressman Joseph Crowley in New York. And she's been a national figure ever since, despite not winning the election. Whatever, there's been a lot of buzz about it. And unfortunately, with coverage by the media, there comes negative coverage, oftentimes without facts and usually with some level of exaggeration. Now, I'm doing this story for two reasons. One is that I was planning on doing the Kavanaugh hearings again, but people were tired of that after a day. I don't blame them. We already know what's going to happen. And also, I wanted to highlight why I don't respond to a lot of comments even I get, which are few, far, and in between. But a lot of them are not responded to for the exact reason of what you're about to hear these people write. Let me say hello to Dirk. I knew you would click if you saw something about your girlfriend. Anyways, so the story is that Fox, no, a few days ago, brought Vulture. Let me explain. Jesus, everybody always has to react to the title. Huh? Huh? Anyways, a video surfaced. Ocasio-Cortez put a video on Twitter where she's going up to these kids, and she's telling them that she's gonna combat Trump. When she gets to Washington, the kids are all happy and excited, going woohoo, yay! It's the kind of stuff you would expect to hear in a liberal district because I live in California, a blue state, and we typically have that kind of stuff. You have so many little kids over here who just hate Trump just because their parents told them to. But it's the kind of stuff that see in these districts. So, anyways, Fox covered the story, and they had Mike Huckabee come on there, and he gave his example of what socialism is because they can never talk about the actual policies themselves. They just latch on this label to assail all of them without specifying anything. And he gives this example that if 6 children have to rake up leaves and only 3 of them do it, the other 3 get treated just as fairly, and that's what socialism is. It's that whole work hard and somebody else gets to be lazy and get the same benefits kind of spiel. But I want to keep that in mind because I'm on Fox's their video, and I'm going to read the comments that have been written over the last maybe 2 days. It depends how many of these are there. Okay, so this guy, the first guy says, the party of adolescent libtard mentality, look free stuff. Pretty generic comment. But this from another guy. There really is something up with that woman. If the good people of her district elect her, first of all, don't tell anybody. Next, prepare to be constantly defending why she was elected, and it can't be that she was promising a free house, education, and health care. Anyone who believes that shouldn't be allowed to vote. So because this person doesn't like the positions of other voters, they want them to be stripped of their right to vote. But these are the people who are telling us that the system that she's proposing, which has never advocated for that, even with conservatives, is the bad idea. Whatever. So let's continue reading. Somebody else says, unfortunately, this nitwit will win because her district is poor and liberal. Gee, go figure that out. Basically saying that because there are, let me see this. So they want proof that you are working to get something extra like benefits, I guess. I'm just reading these comments, man. I'll go into a few of them, but this person says, haha, talk to folks who vote. This lady is a whack job with with un-American policies. I wish this person had gone to an American school. Maybe he would learn to put un and American in the same, it's one word, whatever. So I thought it was United Nations American policies at first. Okay, so this person's comment in reference to her meeting with these kids is her intellectual peers. This other person says, that's crazy that kids get excited. Stop and he's quoting, step and say her kids, we're gonna meet Iron Man and watch the same reaction. Explanation. His comment is very confusing. So just moving on. This other person says, and this is where like the weird stuff I'm talking about. Someone says, come F with my grandchildren, you dirty whore, I'll end you. She could get children hurt. So from her going up to these kids and talking about promoting the fact that she's running for office, which a lot of these lawmakers do, she is somehow a dirty whore. Do you see where, like, people talk about needing to, okay, Envoy, if you'd come at the beginning, and this is why it's not good to be late to the party. These are comments that were posted on Fox News' coverage of. I know you know who Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is. She had a video on Twitter where she goes up to some small children, tells them that she's running for office, and these people are reacting to Fox to that clip and Fox's coverage of it. And so I'm saying that the comment I read by this person said, "This dirty whore better not mess with my my grandkids or whatever." Being all threatening. This person says, "Keeping them on the plantation." Somebody else says she's never heard of Venezuela. Apparently, that person's never heard of Denmark or Sweden or Finland or any other country that's successfully implemented socialism. But again, I'm not. When I say that, you have to understand when people bring up Venezuela, they do it for two reasons. One is that it's a random term that can scare people that don't know what it is. The second reason is that they're trying to not get into specifics, because when you talk about things in particular relating to what they consider to be socialism, a lot of people like it. So, for example, if you say screw that label and just talk about Medicare for all, we found out most Republicans want that policy, even though none of their lawmakers have it. Go figure. This person says, "This is a dangerous woman. She will eat children's souls alive." Someone else says, "What a clown. She looks like a blood drinker." Another person says, "Effing sick. These kids don't know what they are agreeing to, and to take advantage of their innocence is a very low point, even for the left." Okay, Dirk says, "This is the internet. Everybody gets a voice, and some are more vocal than others." I agree. Envoy says, "Yup, which is why I think social outrage about anything is an all-time high, since everyone has a voice, which is ridiculous." There was a guy who actually proposed an IQ test for people to get on the internet so that they would have to, verify that they had a certain level of education. And this is this is the result of everybody being allowed to have the computer. Let me go down. Okay. This one person who has some brains in their head says democratic socialist policies would save America many trillions of dollars and restore justice in our economic policy. This other person says, let's put a rope in the Oval Office and hope the president does. Okay, they're trying to they're doing some kind of thing about how they hope Trump commits suicide, which is completely unrelated to. I'm telling you, people just love writing all kind of stuff. Envoy says that's where I draw the line. Stop calling me that, Envoy. I'm not the main protagonist from Scrubs. When people start brainwashing children with politics, kind of off topic, but they do that in schools nowadays with gender fluidity and all the other nonsense. But let's not go down that hole. Yeah, they have a lot of little kids that get introduced to stuff that they don't need to be involved with. Alex Z says, just like a communist, she knows the indoctrination has to start early on. Other person says, adults won't accept her, so she has to go to children. They are on the same level. I actually made a mistake and read that person's name. Oh well. Someone else says, this should be illegal. Another person says, when the party of family values starts separating families and putting children in dog kneels, yes, the children will rise up against the bully in chief. So they're defending her. Okay, so the next, where's somebody else? See if I can find this. She forgets they don't have parents, just a thing I guess you could call a mother. She found someone at about her maturity level. This other person says, and I don't mean to make Dirk mad when I read this, crazy hoe Cortez, and they spell her last name wrong too. The latter part of her last name wrong. Another person says she is one sick bee. Where is the Secret Service to check her about having kids to fight Trump? Yeah, but Dirk, rather Envoy. Notice now that we've had two instances where people have called her a whore, or promiscuous, because they don't like this clip, or rather, their various. Like, see how dumb it gets? Okay, Marco says most of those European countries operate with some percentage of capitalism, and a lot of them have health care guaranteed through the Constitution. Yeah, and because we don't have that, we have this for-profit system where the people at the top can pay, along with these pharmaceutical companies, politicians, to let us get screwed over these high costs for health insurance. I would love to do a video about Obamacare and where that came from, regards to healthcare and federal state law. Yeah. Okay. Another person says, "What a dumb woman." That's actually probably the most mundane comment we've read here. She's creating a new generation of puppets, lefty self haters. Another person says she wants free stuff. STD is for free. She can get it as much as she likes. It's weird how, like, when you look at the comments on her, they're so, like, sexually, um, they have this sexual undertone with, like, it's like having a bunch of people who have a confused boner just, like, watching this video and looking at the back of her head and just going, it makes me so angry. What is wrong with these people? Oh my God. We've had two call her a whore, and we've had another one talk about STDs that she can get. Okay, Envoy says, to be honest, Rob Vulture said, is she pretty? I don't know what article you're looking at. No. These are the comments on Fox's video. Let me give you the title of it. We need your help, Ocasio-Cortez. And then type in Fox News and you'll get it. You'll read these comments. Dream Villain says, what's going on? I'm just reading some of the comments that people have made on this Fox video about Ocasio-Cortez because it's really telling of like what the problem is when it comes to just how people think and process stuff. So it's like a little social experiment. And where is Dirk? You mean, bro? Is she pretty, bro? Vulture? You saw the thumbnail? At least you should have seen the thumbnail. I'm not sure. It should, that picture should be there. This person puts in all cap lock, so you know she's serious. I'm gonna read it just like how she wrote it. Cortez is a complete lunatic, so please keep her Democrats. She sucks, and you suck. So hide the children's genitals. That's what this person wrote. This person says, too bad they can't vote, LOL. Kids are the only ones naive to listen to her BS. If my kid came spewing that BS, I'd go down the park and slap the taste out of her mouth for trying to brainwash my children with her BS. So now we've had two people threaten her with physical harm. Dirk says, I'm coming after everyone in those comments. Oh my God. Person says, this woman is nuts, out of her effing mind. Palm Tree says, her succeeding might actually be a blessing in disguise. If she gets far enough, we'll see her get murdered in debates on live TV. Then we can all have a good laugh. This is insane. Another person says, hope she realizes they are the only voters she will attract. Someone else says, racist, stupid, CUNT, which you guys know what that is. I've never understood why that word was so offensive, but I'm not going to say it because, obviously, the expletives and all that. Something wrong with this, Ocasio-Cortez. Someone says, someone needs to kill the ugly bug eyes commie twat. Okay, Envoy says, funny, I was part of a stream last night on Twitch and we started talking about politics in the U.S. The country is such a joke, man. Honestly, things were never the same since 9/11. Yeah, that's because after 9/11, you had all these people who were freaked out over terrorism for good reason. And then the Republicans exploited that to, repeal the Fourth Amendment effectively with the Patriot Act. So we've been in a surveillance state ever since then, and a war referring to Afghanistan. Those two things have been the legacy of that terrorist attack. Well, along with Iraq, but those two are still ongoing things that we've had. Envoy said, Dirk says, I don't judge people on debate, I judge people on policy. Yeah, that's why, like, they were talking about with the Shapiro thing. They act like if he just says, we can't afford, when he's sitting next to her, I'm just going to go, oh, man, I have to not vote for her because Shapiro sure said something that she didn't respond back to. What? Okay, Envoy writes, America branded together for a little while after 9/11, but everyone is just volatile, race wars, gender wars, religion wars, terrorism. It's crazy, man. Raw Vulture says 9/11, 7/11 memes. So now we've had two people threaten her with physical violence, and one person advocate for her assassination. And of course, they have a picture of Reagan as their avatar, so that tells you a good thing. Uh, Another person says she needs God. This fictitious deity is going to come from the sky and suddenly be on her side or whatever. I've seen a lot of people that just are coming out of nowhere. What happened to Elliot? I haven't seen him in forever. Marco says things were never the same since the 90s, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. The 90s are when the Democrats got in bed with Wall Street and we had NAFTA and all those jobs got shipped to Mexico and Canada. But you already know the score. Um, Person says liberals screw up everything they touch. Ironically, after, I don't like to do that thing of ideology versus ideology, but the only like the decent thing about Obamacare is that it's something that was made to increase the number of people that have coverage, and the Republican replacement for it that Trump pushed took people off of coverage. So again, I'm not a fan of his. I'm not really that into just saying, "Oh, Trump is so horrible. Trump is so horrible." But I have noticed that more often than not, it seems Democrats will create something and Republicans will come around and just destroy it. Oh man. Envoy says I believe in God, but people can choose not to believe in him nowadays. You can't even talk about God and whether or not he exists while people losing their minds. Yeah. And I believe in him too. I don't blame people for not believing him because it's hard to really provide evidence of his existence. Sometimes I wish I could just live in a world where everyone just played Pokemon. You can. Go is really, really popular. Even though there was some whole controversy about people being led to dead bodies or some nonsense. Someone says she's appearing to her own aptitude level. Someone says she's filthy. The only thing she has going for her is her looks. That's disgusting. Another person says, um, just one good. Wow. Okay, this person says just one good sniper, and then there's a little blank space. Someone says, F that ugly CUNT, get away from the kids. She is a product of democratic socialism. Yes, people, that mutually exclusive phrase invented by Vladimir Lenin, who labeled people like her useful idiots. Good thing kids don't vote and they can be manipulated easily. It's in her gene code. She's a woman, she's a tool, and when done, they'll throw her away like Hillary and Obama. Uh, I don't know about throwing away Obama. He was, I have my problems with him, but he left office with I think 60% approval rating. He was really popular when he got out. So I don't know how he got thrown out, but okay. Person says that woman is such a piece of garbage. I can't wait for the trash to be taken out. Someone says send her brown behind the Venezuela so we can have rid of her. So a little casual racism, that's all good. Someone says, what a low-life, dumb woman. Uh, wow. Okay, so now we've had two death threats, two threats of physical violence, that weren't to that level, and a bunch of people just calling her dumb and stupid. And we've had three people make sexually charged comments toward her. Like, I'm not saying that to be funny, but notice that it's like, you have these people who don't like her, but they're turned on by her, so they write like the guy that said she can get as many STDs as she wants, and you can just picture him touching himself while he's writing that. Envoy says death threats. The interest is crazy. Uh, let's see. Ruben says left wingers have been throwing at as well as right wingers. Yeah, she's getting attacked by both sides. Dirk says Obama being thrown on a silver platter to make speeches and sell books. Yeah, again, I don't have I have my problems with him, but he was never condemned by the general public like Bush was. Bush had a point where he was only liked by, I think, a third of Americans. Obama never had that. The guy was always able to keep that 30 to 40% on his side. So I don't know what that comment was stupid to me. Uh, I told you, Envoy, stop calling me that. I'm not the main protagonist from Scrubs. The past 1 to 2 weeks have been really good in terms of comment section, going back and forth about politics. Marco says, just think what would happen if Ted Cruz debated her. I'm sure that she would wipe the floor with with Cruz. You know, I really I say this as someone who admittedly wants to be more known for this stuff. The only one of those conservative commentators or politicians that actually unnerves me if it came to debating him would probably be Shapiro. That's the only one I'm like, oh man, if I go up against him, he's gonna talk over me and I won't be able to say anything. And there's, oh man. But other than that, everybody else seems kind of like within the level where you could realistically think if you have the right information, there won't be cause for talking over and trying to make you seem dumb. Envoy says, "Oh my bad, all the time takes too much effort." Uh, I know that's why you kept calling me that to reference the main character. Ruben says a lot of those people are Ha Goodmans, fake leftists. Um, Let me see. Go back to Envoy's comment because I want to make a point. Yeah, the one good thing about these kind of streams is that you can actually get people having a substantive discussion where no one's calling anybody out of their name. Nobody is saying, well, except for Envoy calling me, that abbreviation to reference one of his favorite shows. Um, but other than that, you actually have a realistic discussion about some topic that's actually being talked about. It's not the nonsense where, oh, I don't want to hear from you because you're ugly. Any of that jive. So let's keep going down into the toilet we go. If she talked to my kids, I would slap her face hard. They put that in cap locks. Dumb as a box of hammers. Can't wait to see her debate the issue she espouses. Oops. LOL. Only people who listen to her are ghetto rats' children. I think they mean to say the children of ghetto rat. No, they actually did capitalize. Okay, so it's if she talked to my kids, I would slap her face, and then it's capitalized hard. She's cuckoo for communism. Somebody else writes, how disgusting and disgraced this woman is. Sad. Don't let this dumb bee near your kids. Someone else says shameful. Someone else wrote a whole paragraph. I am not reading that. They're just saying that shit. I'm gonna read the first two sentences of it. Ocasio-Cortez is a toxic to America. While few, if any, pure socialist and capitalist economics exist today, economies that lean more towards socialism than capitalism are unlikely to be successful in the long run. This is because socialism removes the rewards for ambition, initiative, and innovation, namely private ownership and retention of a large portion of earnings. You mean like Amazon? Guys, we already have socialism. Bezos prides himself on that. The guy gets away with earning what his employees make in an entire year in 20 minutes and not having to pay the taxes that they have to pay. And it's like, okay, the comment about socialism removes rewards for ambition, initiative, and innovation. So, okay, think about this. 43% of the homeless have jobs. I'm supposed to believe that if they didn't have to worry about paying for their health care, they're not going to work anymore. Suddenly, they're not going to have to worry about utilities like a home, water, electricity. Do you see how insane this is? So this capitalist system has been a success for the people at the top with elements of socialism for the 1%, and everybody below is just... All of these commenters are very unlikely to have a discussion with them without wanting to strangle them or put them in a bubble, or Stormy and Putin. We need to... Where's something else that's dumb? Elliot says, I've been homeless now for 2 months. How are you affording the internet? All right, so this person says, so the ugly little ex-bartender communist whore is recruiting children who are not eligible to vote. Really? This effing ugly cunt needs to be black banged to get mo for child abuse. Okay, so they called her ugly twice. I'm telling you, man, they're like these commenters are getting wet between the legs just looking at her. It's so weird. Like I can see why Dirk snatched her up after that election. They got together because all these women were all these guys have this like thing where they know she's attractive, but they can't just have a political debate, so they start getting all personal. You're ugly. Free Wi-Fi. I get in the woods and I work. Just live in the tent. Derek says, if only I was a computer science major in my 30s and sent back to the 1980s. Yeah. Uh, Envoy says, it's a capitalist orgy and you ain't in it. No, I think it's a... Hey, notice how I just spent 20 minutes reading these comments, all against this political figure that I personally like. And my opinion has not changed on her whatsoever. So that tells you that when people engage in these smear campaigns, they don't work. To those of us who are convinced and actually have an ideology. Okay, because of our horrible mixed economy, the middle class and working class are getting taxed way too much, and the rich get the profit. Yeah. I told you I did the video on Monday about who are the enemies of the working class, or rather the opponents of the working class, and Bezos was one of them. Here's a guy who literally could end homelessness with only half of the wealth he's made this year alone, and chooses not to. But then you'll have these commentators who will say, "Are you telling us that it's his duty to end homelessness?" No, but most of us who don't have that amount of money are sympathetic toward the people who are going through this struggle and want this system to end. Envoy says, that's America, baby. It's a capitalist party and you ain't in it. Uh, Dirk says, also a military industrial. And you. All right, we can't say those expletive words on here. Expletive fest. Let's put it that way. But I have noticed that, I don't know, I think this would be a really interesting series of just, it's like, it should be called the Ocasio-Cortez bashing series. Like, I should retitle this Ocasio-Cortez gets bashed, and then every one of these, like, put a number after the end of it. We just go to a different comment section, just read all the nasty stuff that's being written about her, and then we see if we walk out going, wow, they made some really convincing arguments. Yeah, man, the system right now is good. We have to stop this woman. You think that'll be interesting? Would you rather that than the rest of the Kavanaugh stuff? I just want to know because I'm in the business of going either way with this. No, it's not capitalist. Just we have a crappy mixed system. Well, I want you to answer the other question I asked about what content would you prefer. Talking about that. I was watching a video regarding the kingfish, Huey P. Long, and he was very sympathetic of the working class in Louisiana. It seems like the lower class have lost their powers. Watching videos about the kingfish. All right. Ruben says, morons think Jeff Bezos is left wing because he hates Trump. Yeah. Dirk says, all I know is he should be taxed for having overseas banks filled with a fortune to hide his wealth. Right. Well, I want you guys to answer. Would you prefer the video of tomorrow to be on the Kavanaugh stuff, or for more content like this where we just go around different anti-Alexandria videos and just like respond and read and respond to the comments that are written, and then see if we walk away going, man, they made some compelling arguments. I'm gonna have to switch my support to Trump, and I'm gonna now hate everyone who I identify as a liberal. Even the most conservative of Democrats are liberal. Like, which of those would you prefer? That or the rest of the Kavanaugh stuff and just other things that happen, like news stories? Because I had a lot of fun with this. Okay, you guys are having your own little dialogue. Man, somebody needs to answer my question. I want to make sure that I'm giving the content that is wanted, but whatever. Okay, so this other person says maybe she will convince the kids to turn in their parents if they are against her politics. This is truly a disgusting way to run for office. Kids, really? Um, Elliot says, I'm off now. All right, have a good day. Dirk says, this should be a weekly thing or something. Let's get back to Kavanaugh. As you command. But I want to read this comment. I want to focus on this comment. So they said, this person says, she's going to try to convince kids to turn in their parents if they are against her politics. You mean like how Obama turned in the the journalists with repealing habeas corpus after they did their job? Ruben says you can keep doing what you're doing. I like these type of live streams. Well, yeah, I like these as well, but this has had more people active in it than the thing about Kavanaugh yesterday. So I was, because of its higher reception, I'd want to do more of it. You know. So I'm trying to get a poll here. Envoy says I don't care one way or the other. Everything is going to hell regardless of if we do it or not. Pretty much. Dirk says Jesus that comment. I'm speechless with the outrage that she is openly undermining parents' influences and their own kids. A new low even for libs. When is that madness going to stop? I bet you if she was going up there talking about how great Trump was, all these people would be quiet. Parents have influenced their children, and just adults in general have influenced children since the beginning of time. So it's nothing new. Um, it's just hypocrisy. This person says she's not even elected to anything, which is true. She should be locked up. Wow. Another person says, we need your help, but we demand your soul. This is sick. They should be teaching kids manners and responsibilities, not fight Trump politics. I guess the adults are catching up to her nonsense, so now she can only get kids to listen to her. My God. Okay, this person says this is so wrong on so many levels. This is an immature person working on indoctrinating and teaching kids to hate rather than think for themselves. I would be infuriated if my child was approached by a temptress as this. You do not have my permission to bully my child with your ill-conceived anti-American notions. Rated R restrictions like it's a movie. Jamar says, I love fight Trump politics. I do too, but it just, think of how dumb this is. This is an immature person. That's what this person calls her. But then you say that she's going around giving anti-American notions. The only reason she's even saying that is because she doesn't agree with being against Trump. So who's immature? The person who says, I don't like Trump, or the person who says, you have anti-American notions because your policies don't agree with mine. Envoy says that was a great comment talking about raising children to hate rather than think for themselves. Yeah, but these are the same kind of people who would say, like, if you here's what I don't like about these kind of comments. They're geared toward their own self-interest. If she was going around telling everybody how great whatever view this person has that left this comment, no, she wouldn't be complaining. She'd go, "Oh yeah, man." So she's telling the younger generations how it is. Good job. It's like I could go into some of these schools, not like a third, fourth, fifth grade, and go, "Oh man, guys, your politicians are controlled by donors," and you would have Democrats and Republicans in office and as commentators saying, "How dare he indoctrinate those kids?" Because it doesn't align with their own views. Dirk says people love to talk anonymously about this. Well, to an extent, but some of these comments are people. So the ones that are making the death threats and talking about I'll slap you and all that other nonsense, they have a username with no picture. The other ones have, like this last one, have a picture. Person says, "Hey, you brown slut, keep away from our children. We real Americans know you're just looking for kids for the Clinton sex compound." Again, more of these like sexually frustrated comments. Jamar says Woodward has dropped a devastating rap sheet on Trump, and these people are still lapping Trump's nut. Envoy says, "LO, I guess we have to refine the word indoctrination." Yeah, Envoy. I've never heard of the Clinton sex compound. Like, hey, imagine like she comes back, she goes to like some abandoned warehouse, and then Clinton shows up naked. And he's like, "I'm glad you told those kids to come to my sex compound." And then Dirk says, "Quality of the internet." Jamar says, "LOL." All right, man. I'm gonna have to cut this off. This is I'll do something else like this if you guys want it. Um, but I did this for the reasons that I said at the beginning, which is to highlight how ridiculous most of these online commenters seem to be in the current era, and also to show you that you can, if you truly believe in a person's condition. Yeah, she's in that sex compound too, Envoy. But if you truly believe in the conviction of a candidate, or you're convinced of a candidate, you're not going to let it. Doesn't matter if there's a million of these comments. You're not going to let it affect your views. I appreciate it, bro, Vulture. Yeah, Dirk. If more people respond to this than the Kavanaugh thing, so I'll probably do this again tomorrow. So, thank you for watching, and have a good day.